Hi there, this is Åsa with a new scrapbook process video. Today I'm making a fall layout with 4 photos from a walk that I took during lunch hour in October, November, something like that. And I happened to just go in a park area, a couple of blocks from my workplace, and suddenly I found myself in a tiny forest, but though a forest of beech trees. And beech trees aren't normally found here in this part of the country. It is much further to the south. You need to go to the very south of Sweden to see and experience beech trees. But these were planted in a park area, and they were perhaps 8 or 10, and they had this wonderful color, and I just stood there beneath the huge canopies and just admired the colors. The leaves hadn't by then changed color that much, and it was still this lovely green canopy of leaves, and it was just lovely. And I even found beech nuts underground that I picked and held in my hand so I could photograph them. I felt this was almost like an exotic moment on my lunch hour walk, because I didn't expect it, and it was like one of those nature moments that was really magical. And often during fall and during spring I happen to come across these kind of nature magical moments when everything is just wonderful and I can become a part of nature itself. So this was one of those moments past fall. I will be working on another of these Imaginist papers that I've had for a long time in my stash, and I'm making a triangular design just like I did for the Thanksgiving dinner layout. And at that time, or with that layout, I also used an Imaginist paper, but one with a lot of text. This time it is a paper fully covered with different kinds of fall trees, and this is the triangular piece that I'll be working with. In that layout with the Thanksgiving dinner, I put the triangle pattern paper at the top left, and this time I will be putting this triangle to the lower right instead. So this is the base of my page. I fiddled around a bit with the photo block. I changed the placement of the different photos in perspective to each other a couple of times before I finally went with this formation. I wanted the photos looking upwards to be I wanted it to feel like you were looking upwards. So I had some problems with placing those so that it felt natural. But I went with this composition, and I think that was okay. I have pulled out a couple of frames, and these are from the Simple Stories Pumpkin Spice fall collection, and I'll be using 3 of them, and instead of just making them be like this, empty frames, I will be putting ledger paper behind them so that they will form bases for my embellishing clusters. I had a question a while back in the comment box below one of my videos. Someone asked if I really get to scrapbook 1 page every second day. So I think that I said on a video that my goal was to post a video every second day. and it definitely is something that would be possible for me. And I can't say that I make a layout every second day. No, I don't. During the weeks I have very little energy, especially during this time of the year, but some weekends I manage to make 7 layouts and then I have for almost 2 weeks publishing. So it goes really well. I think at this time, when I'm making this voiceover, I have 10 or 11 videos, process videos filmed, just waiting to get the voiceover done. So I have quite a stash of material to work with. So I don't think that's the problem. The problem is that I have very little time to narrate, and that's basically because my family is quite loud, and when they are up and about, I can't really make a voiceover because my recording device is in the living room, and my family mainly is here as well. So that's my problem. In February, I think that I published 4 or 5 process videos, but I scrapbooked a lot more. So I have a stash, or I have a supply of videos waiting. Now in March, I have already, I think, published 6 or 7 already, and I have, like I said, I think I have 11 videos waiting. So it's not the scrapbooking that is a problem. The problem is to get the voiceovers done. I film almost everything that I scrapbook because I love the process of making process videos, and I also enjoy the I don't want to call it pressure, but I enjoy the kind of the feeling that I need to get things done. I can't think like forever on a page. I need to keep working, and it's very good for my creativity, because otherwise I can stop. and that's not very good if you want to get layouts done. I have now, back to layout, I have picked out a green font. It's the Jelly Bean alphas, and I will write my title using these letters, and it will be the beech wood, and I'll be writing it in Swedish, so it will say Bokskogen. So we don't have a special word like the. It's instead we change the word ending, so the en at the end of this word is the definite form of this noun. And now I get problems, because this alpha set, it gets lost on this very heavily patterned paper. And first I try with a single strip of wood grain washi tape. It's one of my favorites, and it often works. This time it didn't. The colors were so close in not in the color, but in the shade. Anyway, you know what I mean. So it didn't work. I needed to have a color that was much more different. So I went with something really, really bright, and this is a couple of layers of yellow washi tape. It's got a small or a very subtle pattern, and on this color the green alphas showed much better. But I wasn't really pleased with this. It was too much difference with this yellow, so I needed something extra. So I picked up on the orange in the frames and in the trees on the paper, and also it's got some shades of orange in the photos, so I just one thin strip of orange washi tape together with the yellow, and everything pretty much it just fell into order when I had placed that strip down. So now I'm just gluing down the alphas, and that will be my title. When I had gotten this far in this process, I felt like this layout is so boring. What shall I do with it? Nothing's really happening here. I need something more. So now I start to work more on the embellishing. First, I wanted to bring in that yellow tone into the more in the layout. So I went with the washi tape on a piece of white cardstock, and I made half circles which I could place in my embellishing clusters. And now it's a abrupt jump in time. I have picked out paper leaves. It's Prima paper leaves in different colors and shapes, and I'm making small leaf bouquets and placing them inside those frames. So 3 of them, and I'm just gluing them down with some Scotch adhesive, liquid adhesive, and I will later, I think I even placed some pressure on that so that the glue sticks to the background paper, and it won't just float on top of everything and fall off. So that pretty much picked up on the colors of the trees, and also the leaves that were really obvious in the photos, and I loved that I could use those leaves. It was years since I used them before, and I thought that was really fun. It for a couple of years back, everything you couldn't even see a layout someone had made without seeing those Prima paper flowers, and then everything got so specialized. You had to pay several dollars for one flower, and everything kind of got out of hand, I think, for the whole paper flower industry, and it became very specialized. And these days you only see paper flowers with the card makers, the romantic card makers, I think, and never really with scrapbooking. So I have quite a supply of paper leaves and paper flowers, and I always think it's fun to use them when it's appropriate, and this time I think it was. I wanted to bring in some more of that light green from the leaves, and from the also from part of the pattern papers. So I got some alpha stickers in that color, and I will write like it's not a subtitle, it's more like a beginning of the larger title. I have written now I must explain. First, in Swedish, this beech tree, it's called bok, and that's the same word as we use for book, like the one you read in. So I'm using a bit of wordplay here with a reference to the beech nuts that I'm holding in my hand there, and I'm writing, I want to sow books from the beech forest. So in Sweden it basically means that I will be growing books. and I thought that was fun to play with in words. I always think that wordplay is something that brings out my personality in my scrapbooking, because that's a big part of my personality when I talk. So of course I need to do that in my scrapbooking as well. So I'm sewing books here on this page, and finishing the whole thing with a drawn pencil line or pen line. It's a black journaling pen line. just all around the green cardstock. And this is the finished page. I'm really pleased with this one, and I'm really pleased with the moment that these photos capture. And it was fun to use up that old Imaginis paper, and also a lot of fun to bring back those paper leaves from Prima. You can see in the close-ups here I have also cut a little, like a piece of flag from the same orange thin washi that I used for the title piece there. Really nice and colorful fall layout. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you soon here in my channel again. Take care. This is Åsa. Bye.